Welcome to the VTek YouTube channel. This is Shelby, and I want to show you some of the benefits of the VTek 300. If you notice, we have 30% larger displays than almost any other clock on the market. What that allows, it allows a second text-based line to be used. Now, let's say you need to set a clock. Let's say you're going to the North American Open and you're playing in a regular long schedule. And that's a 40-2 game in 30 delay 10. Most clocks you got to prop open the manual, figure out how do I set it, how do I get into the programming. With the VTek clock, turn the clock on. Since the text-based line is on the bottom, you hit the right or left button till you find time controls. The center button is select. And now let's say we want to do the 40-2 game in 30 D10. We would go to, let's create new. It's a 2 time control tournament, so that would be 2 phases. Select. First phase is 120 minutes, is 40 moves. If you notice, you can hold the right or left button down. Instead of going up by ones, it goes up by tens. If you just need to do it by single digits, you can just press it. Now, the first phase is 120 minutes. With a Chronos, this will take a while because you have to keep on hitting the button. Here, hold it down until it says 120. Time delay is 10, so we have to change it from no to yes and then select. Time delay is 10 seconds. Whoa, went way past it. Second phase is 30 minutes. Hold the right button down. Now, after you're done programming, it'll show 40-2, sudden death in 30, D10. What makes our clock different is you have a whole bunch of different options on how you want to progress from here. You can play and just go directly to the game, or you can save, or if you screwed up and this is wrong, you can edit. Now, I would save, hit the center button, and now it shows you exactly what it's set for. And you see how it says fave, and then it has a little, it looks like it's unlocked. In our favorites, you can actually lock it and make a favorite. If you want to go from here, press the center button. You'll notice the lights are blue. Lights are blue means USCF mode. USCF mode allows dual flag fall. It adds the time automatically instead of waiting for the first time to run down, and a couple other things that are covered in the manual. And when you're ready to play, just hit. Delay is counted down on the second line, so it's not confusing. A lot of people are asking, what makes our clock different and worth the extra money? First of all, our clock is USA made, USA manufactured. It has a metal case to make it extraordinarily durable. It also has 30% larger displays for an extra text line, which by using a text-based menu system, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to program. It's easier for the players to use. It's easier for the tournament directors to make changes to if needed. And it has a lot of extended functions. Like, there are 20 favorites that you can save. If you don't want to save a game into your favorites, you're going to actually go into your recents menu and it saves your last 9 controls that you use. So say you go to a tournament and you don't ever want to mess with your favorites because you have your 20 all set, you can just program it and play instead of save, and then it goes directly into your recents folder. And there are a lot of other things. Let me show you step by step. First step, this clock is extraordinarily easy to use. Most people don't even need a manual. When you turn it on by pressing the center button, it goes directly into the menu. And with the text-based second line, let's say you're going to the North American Open, which is a 40-120 game in 30 D10 for the open and long schedule. For most clocks, you'd have to crack open the manual, figure out, oh my God, is it CHP7A, and then try to decipher through the Chronos. No, with this clock, it's easy. Hit the right or left button until you find time controls. We go to create new. 2 controls would be 2 phases. Select. First phase is 40 moves. Our clock, if you hold the right button down, it goes up by 10s. If you just hit the button individually, it goes up by 1. If you hit the left button, it goes down by 1. All right, 40 moves in 120 minutes. So hold the right button down until it says 120, and then let go, and then when it's correct, center button. Time delay, no changes to yes, select. 10-second delay, I went past it again. Second phase, 30 minutes. Select, and it says 40 and 120 game and 30 D10. Now, we can either play, save, or edit. Let's choose play. As soon as you choose play, you're ready to go and just hit one of the buttons and start the game. Now, let's say you're playing a game and somebody makes an illegal move. You notice when you're playing the game, the lights are green. Green means go, it's your turn, time to go. Now, most clocks pause them and can't tell the clock's pause. You have to actually look at the displays to make sure they're not counting down anymore. Our clock, the lights turn red. So this way, it's not just a visual cue to you that the clock has been stopped. It's also a visual cue to the tournament directors. Let's say the tournament director comes over and figures out the guy on this side made an illegal move, and he needs to subtract 2 minutes from that guy's time. Most clocks, tournament director breaks out his pad, writes down how much time each person has, and then racks his brain trying to figure out how do I take 2 minutes off that guy's side. Our clock is a lot easier. When you're in stop mode, which shows with the red light, you can hold the center button down till the left light turns blue. You notice that all of a sudden everything starts flashing. Let's say we need to add 2 minutes to this guy's clock. Let's say this person made a mistake. You can add 2 minutes, and then when it's correct, cycle through. And don't need to mess with the move counter. Don't need to mess with the move counter. Don't need to mess with the phase. And if you notice, it'll say this guy has been awarded 2 minutes. Notice how the lights are both blue. If that's correct, hold the center button down till the right button turns red, and that was because it's that guy's turn. If it's correct, center button, and then the game starts. Now let's say you're playing in a couple different tournaments. You're playing in one tournament that's FIDE rated. FIDE rated, there's a lot of extra rules that you have to abide by. You cannot have a dual flag fall. That means when one person runs out of time, both clocks stop. There's a couple other things that FIDE doesn't allow. If you have a dual control tournament, FIDE does not allow the extra time to be added right away. You have to wait till the first control counts completely down till you add the second control. Now, the way you would go into FIDE mode, turn the clock on, hit the right or left button until you go to preferences, and then play mode, freeze mode, increment mode. We need to go to play mode. Hit the center button, change it out of USCF mode to FIDE mode, hit the center button. Now, to back up, hold the center button, hit the left button. Now, you'll notice that when we go to time controls, let's just go to recents list, and we go to the 40 into sudden death and 30 D10. When we turn the clock so it's ready, you notice how the lights turn yellow. Yellow means you're in FIDE mode. Okay, let's say you're playing in a USCF mode. You would back up, go to favorites, go to preferences, play mode, change out of FIDE mode, go to USCF mode. USCF mode allows dual flag fall and everything else. Now, let's go to time controls, recents, and when we choose a 40 and 2 game 30 D10, you notice the lights are blue. This way, when you're playing in tournaments, you know everything is set correctly. we make it as easy as possible for you not to make a mistake. And if you do make a mistake, we make it as easy as possible to show that you have made a mistake. Now, let's go through our menu. First of all, always comes up to favorites. Favorites, you can save your 20 favorite settings. And if you have a certain group of settings that you want to always lock to your first 5 or 6, you can actually go in and favorite your favorites. Now, when you choose time controls, there are a couple different things. You have global list, recents list, create new. Now, when you go into the global list, it's a bunch of presets where we went through and figured out the most used time controls. Let's say we choose the global list. We have bullet games, short games, long games, multi-phase, and one of the cool options that this clock has is if you run a major tournament and you get a hold of us, we can actually create separate folders for you to where we can download all the settings that you need for your tournament as a separate file. Like the London Chess Classic, Rapid Play, Blitz, Super 6, Tiebreaker, FIDE Open, FIDE Standard, Weekday Classic, Weekend Classic, and so on and so forth. Let's back this up. Now, we also did it for the National Open. Cool thing is you can go into bullet games. There are 5 bullet game settings. You can go into short games and see all the short game settings. Let's back up. Long game, same thing. Multi-phase, same thing. Now, what we have here is the recents list. The recents list is the last 9 settings you've made for your clock that you haven't saved. So this way, if you go to a tournament and you know you're not going to use those controls again, when you program the control into your clock, you just go into play mode. And then as soon as you go into play mode, it goes into your recents list. And then we also have create new, which we've already gone through before. Let's go to preferences. Now, when we choose to go into preferences, we have play mode. When you choose play mode, it has USCF mode, it has custom mode, and it has FIDE mode. So this way, if you're playing in FIDE tournaments, if you stick it on FIDE mode, you know it's automatically going to go by FIDE guidelines. USCF mode, USCF guidelines, and then custom and so forth. Now, we also have freeze, which means halt at end. We have increment mode, which allows you to do Bronstein or Fischer. We have the time format. We can turn the buzzer on or off. We can have the flag on or off. The about just tells you about our website and everything else. And then you can also clear all your list if you want to totally reset your clock. Now, one of the coolest functions we have on this clock is what we call our last game function. A lot of people have played games where they walk away to either go grab a snack, clear their brain, go look at some other games, and they come back and their opponent goes, I don't know what happened, the clock turned off. It doesn't happen a lot, but it's really annoying when it happens. Cool thing about our last game feature, what it does is, let's say your clock turned magically off according to your opponent. You go to the last game feature, hit the center button, and it brings up what was on each screen for your last game. So the TD can just go to the last game feature, go, oh, this guy had 2 hours and 2 minutes, and the other guy had 1:59:22. Makes life a lot easier. And this is the VTek chess clock. It's just a small sampling of what the clock does. Make sure to contact your favorite vendors and ask them why they haven't started carrying this clock yet. Or, if you're really interested, do a YouTube search, do a Google search, Yahoo search for VTek 300 or the VTek 300, and I'm sure you can find somebody that's already carrying it. Thanks for coming to the channel, and I'll be posting more videos soon.